You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This point in the week, what direction they're going. It's probably internally not still up in the air, just because at the time that people are consuming this, they will have had arguably their two most meaningful days of practice and all that. And yes, I'm aware that Barron, a couple of years ago, that was a different scenario. One, because the depth wasn't there. You didn't have a Will Hammond sitting there. And two, you weren't competing for a conference championship at that point. You were just trying to keep your head above water, be competitive. He gave you the best chance and all those things. So it's a bit of a different dynamic this year, but I guarantee you they probably already know, just because Tuesday and Wednesday, that's really where the meat of your practice week comes in. Game plan installation on both sides of the ball, and the timing and everything is worked on. And if you don't go through those 2 days, it's a bit tricky.
Okay, so here I think, as those things remain somewhat up in the air, here I think is another angle to it that is definitely not up in the air, and that involves really who it's left to, I think, with either quarterback to carry the day, and that's the offensive line. That's the ground game. But another interesting intersection, Chris, when it comes to some timing and things going on with your team right now, if I'm understanding it correctly, it seems like the running back room has been trending towards thinner as well. And it began thin, but Jacoby Williams has been dinged up a bit, or at least limited. So I'm wanting to catch up with you on the state of that group as we hit another week. But also, what do you think about the thought that regardless of who's taking the snap, this needs to really be a day where you can lean on the big guys up front and lean on your ground game to carry a huge portion of the load?
Yeah, it is. I think Jacoby is fine. I don't think he's necessarily preseason 100% fresh or anything. I think he's being managed. It's just one of those things that this is why playing well really early and then saying, "Hey, Adam, come over here, go be Adam downhill in the second half and let's get out of here." That's again on our little script. That would, that's a good sidebar from a storyline. And it's funny because I think you will lean on your line. I think that you will want to run the ball. They're giving up 174 a game. It's like 105th in the country. They're giving up 38 points a game, which is, I think, 130th in the country. You know what else I'd like to see? Speaking of leaning on, I think you need to get back. Okay, so let's assume that this is Will Hammond's game. I'd like to see him air it out quite a bit too. I'd like to see your receivers get back into the fold. I don't think you'll have Terrence Carter in this game. But I'd like to see Caleb Douglas and Reggie Virgil and Coy Aiken do some damage too, especially down the field. I think Oklahoma State has had a problem with coverage mix-ups, and that they have given up, a variety of explosives in the passing game. So I'm just kind of looking for an offensive explosion. It'll be daytime. You won't have the pyro going off. There won't be a need for, a pause in the game with all the smoke sitting in the stadium at about, we'll guess about 5:30 in between third and fourth quarter, because the sun will still be up. But you get what I'm saying. I think I'd like to lean on all these things offensively. I really wanted you to get everybody going and kind of, because it didn't feel good last week. Everything was difficult, and I'd like to get everybody back feeling pretty good about themselves, and then ultimately, not just Adam Hill. Let's see some of these young wideouts. Heaven forbid, how about we see Mitch Griffiths in there and break the seal on that in the second half and get Will Hammond out if you take care of your business. Again, assuming this is a Hammond game based on the availability report of Barron being questionable.
Couple things. I am struggling as a fan this week to not want to treat Oklahoma State like one of these early season games where I'm just already plotting out and planning my use of garbage time. I get it's 38. It's Oklahoma State. I mean, it ain't Arkansas Pine Bluff, yet I'm already, as a fan, struggling to not feel like, okay, we'll slot in this QB here, this guy here, this backup here, this guy here, third and fourth quarter, cruising.
They will,
time.
Yeah.
I hope it goes that way, but
I get you.
I'm having a hard time with a Big 12 match.
First, today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. And with football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. You're going to love how easy and simple it is to use. And of course, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use our code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. With Prize Picks, run your game.
They fought.
Kind of feeling that way.
Last week they fought. It was funny because Doug Meacham set up at the beginning of his press conferences, but he's the interim head coach, longtime Big 12 assistant. He was at TCU for years. He's been at Kansas, was at Oklahoma State years ago, and now he comes back. It's funny too because you know who's calling the plays at Oklahoma State now is Kevin Johns, who is a former Texas Tech assistant. He was here under the Cliff Kingsbury era. I think in Cliff's last year, great dude. But he got, Meacham was the play caller. And then as he took over as the interim deal, he sat up there and he's like, man, for 49-17 loss, man, I felt like we won. We just really competed and all the things. It was homecoming last weekend in Stillwater. I think that it was a full house. I think they fought. I think Cincinnati kind of fell in terms of the road atmosphere, but then they ended up winning 49-17. Okay.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State has got good players. They just don't have as many of them as you, anywhere near as many as you. They're trying to figure this out as they go. Half of those kids have one foot out the door. It's a weird dynamic. You may end up playing with your food for a bit here, a quarter or something, but at some point the dam will break. If you have and are the team that we think you are, this will be a big problem for Oklahoma State. They may be playing with the converted wideout at quarterback or a platoon system with their quarterback come back who wasn't very good at all. There's just not a whole lot that they'll. Again, any issue that goes on here, it really is, not to sound cliche, it's your fault.
Yes,
not ours, but it'll be your look ahead, or you're not locked in, or you're letting last week bother you, or anything like that. If you come out pissed, just to use Joey's phrase, and he's curious how his team will handle the loss, you could put this thing away fairly early. And again, Rodney Fields is a really good running back. Okay, he went for 160 last week against Cincinnati. If he gets in the portal, he'll be highly sought after. Wendell Gregory is a really good edge guy. If he gets in the portal, he will be very highly sought after. There's just not a whole lot else that is there, and they're switching schemes, or they have no identity. So that's why I'm talking about it, and I totally get.
I get it. You're a 38-point favorite, man.
Yeah.
38. But I'm just I'm cautioning myself aloud more so than anything, maybe to wait till we get there to start slotting in my fourth quarter plans, which are extravagant. And that's the other thing I wanted to get to. The sun not set by third and fourth quarter. What are you talking about? We're going to be, I think you're underselling the combustion element, the smoked out element. Let's not dampen any hopes. We've already had our flour taken away. Let's not dampen any hopes, Chris, for as much or more combustion and smoke flavor to this event. We're going to be dark enough, I think, by the time we get to the third and fourth. Let's go. I hope we're popping something off. And if I know the folks I know, like I think I know the folks I know,
touche,
I think there'll be a lighter out there.
Okay, I got you.
And I know you want the combustion as much as I do. So
I'm here for more pyro, not less. There's 1,000%. I mean, if you want to inject pomp and circumstance and the glitz and glamour into my veins, I'm here for it. I love it. I mean, so yeah.
Almost had me double checking if I was going to hang around till the fourth, that we weren't getting
I'm just saying. I hope we see lots of first half fireworks, literally of substance on the field. Is my
remember the Alamo. Remember Goliad, and of course, remember 66-6. Put it on, boys, if we have the opportunity. Okay, we're switching gears before we wrap this sucker up, Chris.